Hello, lovely people. Welcome to episode 27 of my NOTCAST. I think it's the 7th of December today, and today I'm going to be talking about the home video releases of Star Wars, because you can't have some kind of video YouTube podcast thing with a bloke in it unless you talk about Star Wars. Those are the rules. I'd also like to point out I have two black cats who are in this room right now. They're not always friends at the moment. They're having a staring competition. One is down here, one is over there. If it all kicks off, you're just going to have to see me pick up cats and bowl them out of the room like I'm some kind of bouncer. But I'm not really. Now, before we get into the world of Star Wars, I'll give you a quick update on a couple of other things. First and foremost, some dude somewhere, because it is a dude, it's got to be a dude, is going around and disliking all of my NotCast videos. It's a heck of a lot easier if you just don't bloody watch them, mate. It's going to save you a heck of a lot of effort, okay? And I try to be positive in this world. And I don't know who watches this. I don't know what they think of them. Clearly one person watches it and goes, no, thumbs down. Well, thumbs down to you. Secondly, a couple of other things I'm going to talk about. First and foremost, I am annoyed, and I'm not annoyed with you, unless you're the guy that votes things down. I was listening to a podcast, which was, I think, Mark Commode on film, which was a rundown of the top 10 David Fincher films. And if you're going to do a podcast that's going to be about the top 10 David Fincher films, it really fucking helps for you to have watched 10 David Fincher films, okay? So Mark Commode, he's very familiar with them. He's watched more than 10 David Fincher films. If there's more than 10, he's watched them all. The other chap who's on there has not watched one of the films. Now, the Commode on Film podcast is, I think, the 12th highest film and entertainment related podcast in the UK. That probably still means only 147 people are subscribed to it. But that's not really the point. The point is, if you're going to do a podcast and you talk about something, you can't just sit there and go, you can't sit and go, not watched it. I don't care. I don't know whether it's any good. I don't care if it's the 12th highest podcast. I haven't done my homework. Look, if you were doing this at school and you just sat there and went, well, I'm not answering the question about the book because I haven't read the book, you'd get given a fail. And I don't want to use the words epic and fail because they're very 2004. But if you're going to do a podcast or a NotCast or whatever it is about something, at least have a vague idea what you're talking about. It doesn't matter if you get the odd little bit of detail wrong. But for example, if I was going to go, well, I'm going to go and rate all the U2 albums, but I haven't heard 3 of them. So you're going to go, fucking joke. I shouldn't be wasting my time listening to you if you can't do the basic research. And that's why I have a cheat sheet, which I probably wasn't going to show you. But I have a cheat sheet of things to make sure that I try and remember things when I'm talking about it. Also, the film that he hadn't seen, this is Alien 3. He may not be a fan of Alien, and he may not be a fan of Aliens. But Alien 3 is not difficult to find. It's currently available on DVD from CEX, on Blu-ray for £1, on Amazon for 42p. And it's quite literally as easy as clicking add to basket, buy now, and waiting for it to come through your front door. So please, if you're going to do a podcast where you rate David Fincher's 10 top films, watch his fucking films. Because it's embarrassing for me to go, well, frankly, mate, I'd give you an F for that. A couple of other things that annoyed me, but I'm probably not going to talk about those too much. I swear that there are some things that don't annoy me, and if you just heard a hiss from out there, that's because the two cats are having an aggressive negotiation with claws. So today we're going to talk about Star Wars, and we're going to talk about Star Wars on video and on DVD and on Blu-ray, and give you an idea and a guide to which versions of Star Wars you want to buy. If you've got a VHS player, buy this. Okay, if you've only got DVD players, buy the 2004 box set with the original prequels in. Or you can also buy versions which have got, the sequels and the original trilogy. Or if you're only really that interested in the movies themselves and you're not that interested in much else, buy this, the Skywalker Saga, which is all the films on Blu-ray, which is currently about £47 for a 18-disc Blu-ray set on a well-known internet retailer named after a river. So, starting off, I'm going to talk through the orders or the releases of Star Wars as home videos in sequence. I'm going to skip all the early VHS releases because I haven't got them. So there. I'm going to jump straight to 1995 with this bad boy, which is called the Executor Box Set. This is was retailed for about £85. It really is the big fucking daddy of Star Wars stuff. So it comes in a steel tin. There's a plastic sheet that covers it, and by the way, this is only of interest to you if, like me, you had VHS tapes. I don't even have a VHS player. It's just such a nice package. I've decided to keep it. It's got the script for the trilogy in, alongside various posters and whatnot. It's got a definitive collection program of contents. This was also available on Laserdisc, and so we will talk through what's on here. It's got this, which is a signed and, well, it's a numbered card with some pictures of some actors in, two of whom are dead, one of whom is brilliant on Twitter. It's got this, which is presumably a certificate of authenticity or something like that. It's a limited issue. Only 20,000 of these were produced worldwide. It's now much cheaper than it used to be. Here's some art cards. Oh, look, they're very nice, if you like them. Sometimes I feel like I'm Michael Stipe in the unboxing video for the Monster box set, where he quite literally flips the discs and throws the vinyl records over the room and then says, I don't even know what 180 gram vinyl means. Never change, Mr. Stipe, never change. There are also in here 3 VHS cassettes. Retro. I don't even know why I've still got these, to be honest. I will never pay them. So these were the last video VHS releases of the original unaltered theatrical versions of the movies, and the tapes that they are on are very long indeed. 202 minutes for this one, which means that there is 80 minutes of extra bonus material on that. This is The Empire Strikes Back, 215 minutes. Good God, that is long, isn't it? Then Return of the Jedi, which is 202 minutes. And then there's a 4th video, actually, that's at the bottom. This has a grand total running time of 62 minutes. That's what happens when you read it upside down. Does it say 62 or 92? I don't know. All I know is that when I check to find out whether I am Satan and to see whether I have got the 666 birthmark on my head, it's actually 666, and if you look closely, it's a 9. So the extras that are on this are the Making of Star Wars documentary, loads of trailers, an interview with George Lucas called War Stories, the Star Wars Gallery narrated by Ralph McQuarrie, who is now deceased, a tour of the Lucasfilm archives. On Empire Strikes Back, you've got a special effects documentary about the Empire Strikes Back. You've got an interview with Ben Burt, who did all those lovely sounds. A thing called How the Walkers Walk, which is stop motion workshop footage, which is narrated by Dennis Muren, and A Flight Through the Asteroids. And on Return of the Jedi, you have a classic creatures documentary, Jedi Videomatics, a moving storyboard narrated by Ken Ralston, and the music video for Lapsy Neck. At the time it came out, you either bought the Laserdisc version of it if you were rich and from the future, or you bought the VHS box set if you were just quite well off and really, really liked Star Wars. It's a lovely package. It's bloody useless these days because I haven't manufactured a VHS player since 2015. If you've only got a VHS player, why the hell are you watching this on YouTube? I really can't understand that. I shouldn't criticise, but there you are. But those were the last time that the theatrical versions were released on video. Now, in 1997, he released special editions. These are the special editions on VHS tape, which I think was bought from Woolworths. They've got not very much in the way of anything interesting on there. Again, widescreen versions of the movies. These are the 1997 editions, which have never been reissued. They were on Laserdisc. These versions have never been on DVD, Blu-ray or anything like that, although to be honest they're not particularly good. The CGI looks particularly cheap and crappy, even though it cost more to do the special editions of these than it did to make the first film. Now, blah 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 blah. What about the prequels? Yes, there were prequels. and I think I'm going to talk through my relative opinions about the merits of each one of the prequels when we get to talking about the films in more detail. But I think probably the first thing is, if you're only interested in the films, the original 3 films from 1977 to 1983, and you're not that bothered about paying too much for them, and you're interested in just the movies really, without too much in the way of changes, there is a first time on DVD box set that was released in 2004. It has some minor changes in it. These are basically special editions. So some of the effects from the 1997 special edition were adapted and revised and updated and made a bit less crappy. And they were put onto these alongside a commentary. On the version that came out in 2004, the movies came on 1 disc, and there was an extra documentary disc called Empire of Dreams that has a 2.5 hour documentary on it. Empire of Dreams has never been reissued. It really, really should have been. It's a really interesting, fascinating watch. Now, the original versions of the films, when they were released, came as single discs inside here. So you've got the special super mega special 2004 DVD editions. They were later, the films were released as standalone DVDs, and these standalone DVDs had bonus discs in them. The bonus discs were the 1993 non-anamorphic widescreen theatrical versions of the films, which were the masters which were used for the Executor box sets. Oh, hello, I'm the Executor box set. You haven't talked about me for a minute. And the go away, you're VHS, you're outdated and embarrassing. And also on the Laserdiscs, and they were later used as bonus features on here. So if you want to get the theatrical original versions of Star Wars on DVD, as near as damn it to the unaltered original trilogy, you need to pick up the 2006 DVDs for the bonus disc. The quality is not amazing at all. It's pretty rough, but it's the best Star Wars, the best that the original Star Wars movies have ever looked on disc. And also, DVD discs and Blu-ray discs can play in the same players almost all of the time. So these ones, A New Hope here. Again, most of these are available for about £1, £1.50, maybe £3 for the full four movie set, or sorry, the 3 movie set plus the extra one. You can, if you get an option between picking the 2004 versions and the 2006 versions, get the 2006 versions, because they have a video game trailer for PC of Lego Star Wars 2, which is a free level to play, woohoo, and the theatrical versions of the movies. There are some differerences between various versions of the theatrical releases of the movies, by the way. These are the most commonly seen 35mm prints. Now, the reason that I mention that is because The Empire Strikes Back, by the way, I'm looking at this backwards, that's The Empire Strikes Back. There's a 70mm print of it that's got different audio and a couple of different takes in it. There's various versions of Star Wars which have different audio and different takes on it, and Return of the Jedi is pretty much the same all over the world. So if you're looking for the Star Wars trilogy on DVD, and you absolutely positively must get the theatrical versions that were released when that you probably first saw as a child in the day of VHS, and when the days when people still cheered and still went to the cinema, get the 2006 double disc versions here. But also you can pick up the bonus material documentary DVD. It's normally really cheap, actually. I normally see it in charity shops all the time, because people go, I only want to watch Star Wars, I don't want to watch the documentary stuff. That's fine. But also you can pick it all up quite cheap. So that's the 2004 DVD version of Star Wars, which is the 2006 double disc standalone releases. I think I've told you this before, are the only ones where you can get the theatrical version. Now, along comes a terrible, terrible thing. Something wicked this way comes. Prequels! And so the prequels were released on VHS. And by the way, the Revenge of the Sith, the third and final prequel movie, was only released on VHS, I think, in the UK. Everywhere else, it was on DVD. So if you've got a VHS of Revenge of the Sith, there's probably some collector somewhere that wants to buy it off you, weirdo, but let him go for that. So, the 2001 DVD of Star Wars The Phantom Menace. If you are interested in getting this on DVD, this is probably the best version to get. It's not the theatrical cut, It's got one extra scene in it, and it's got a couple of extra bits in the pod race. But who gives a shit about that anyway, right? No one cares about the changes that have happened to the Phantom Menace because it's not that good a film. But the 2001 DVD has a raft of special features that you will not find anywhere else. So for that, there are 12 what's called webisodes. So 12 short documentaries, probably about 5-8 minutes each, run to about an hour and 20 minutes. There's 5 featurettes, which again run to about 10 to 12 minutes. There's about an hour of that as well that's on there. There's a documentary on this which is called The Beginning, which is now available on one of the other issues. But this is really a really good reference standard DVD for its time. First Star Wars that was released on DVD in 2001. And you know, well worth getting. This Star Wars Episode 1 Phantom Menace was shot on film. So the 4K version, which was released in 2019, looks bloody brilliant. Also, if you want to get the original theatrical cut of Star Wars, or as near as damn it as makes no difference, do pick up this DVD, because I'll mention why later on. Hopefully that's a teaser will keep you watching the rest of this whilst I talk through my DVD collection. So Star Wars 2 Attack of the Clones, send in the clones. Rightly regarded as a bag of shit. It's not the worst Star Wars movie ever, but that's for a different video, which maybe some of you might actually stick around to watch. Who knows? Again, this was shot on 2K digital, really cutting edge technical at the time, but what it means is that the 4K version on the Blu-ray doesn't look so good because the quality just ain't there. The quality, 2K is as good as it gets on this, so it doesn't look as good as the other versions, and the CGI they're becoming far more reliant on CGI in this movie. As an aside, by the way, if Jurassic Park had invented the dinosaur CGI technology sooner, we would have had the Star Wars prequel sooner. But when George Lucas watched Jurassic Park, he realised that technology could catch up with what he wanted to do, and therefore started writing the prequels, which he'd already wanted to do. He'd wanted to start off with that back in the 70s, but the technology and the budgets wouldn't let him. Sorry, I might as well just repeat things that I've seen on other YouTube videos, right? Okay. Oh man, you wouldn't believe where John Travolta lives now. It's terrible. A shock for his family when a Photoshop bruise appears on his face, because that's how YouTube works. And don't forget, if you're wrong, somebody in the comments will tell you, because again, that's how the internet works. Sorry, I'm really annoyed with the general public today, but that's a completely different matter. Attack of the Clones. I think it's a really good film, actually. It has an awful lot going for it, and I will explain why when I can be bothered. Now, it has a number of documentaries on it which you can't get anywhere else. It's got, I think, one called State of the Art. It's got about, let's think, I'm trying to see if I can find, it's got several webisodes and featurettes, which probably come to about 2 hours. So if you're really into the guts of trying to find all of the making of material, there's a whole bunch of stuff that's on this that's not on anything else. And also it's available very cheaply, secondhand. So the third and final prequel is the dog's bollocks of prequels. This is Revenge of the Sith. I rate this film very, very highly indeed. Shot in 4K. The 4K version from 2019 is as good as it gets, because they're not trying to upscale it and add any quality that doesn't exist there. The DVD version of this is just really very good indeed. The extras are really interesting. Really interesting. Such a bland phrase. It's like somebody makes dinner and say, "Oh, it's nice." What does it mean? Well, there's a documentary called Within a Minute, which details every part of the production that went into the making of that 1 minute of the film, and that's just 78 minutes long, and it's absolutely brilliant watching. There's a couple of features which you won't get anywhere else. One's about stunts, one's about the Chosen One. There's 15 webisodes. Oh god, that's almost as bad a word as singles, isn't it? Which come to about 2 hours of extra material. So again, if you want to get all the extras and everything that goes with the making of this, you do still need to get the DVDs. And then there's the soundtrack to Revenge of the Sith, which has a special soundtrack DVD that comes with it, which is effectively music videos that cross the whole of the 6 movies, narrated by Ian McDiarmid, who plays Emperor Palpatine and the Senator. It's not essential, it's just a bit of promotional fluff, really. It probably took him about half an hour to make. There are also, by the way, the American version of Revenge of the Sith in Walmart came with an extra documentary DVD, which was called the Fall of Anakin Skywalker and the Rise of Luke Skywalker, which again is basically a clip show across the whole of the 6 movies, hosted by Anthony Daniels, because he will do anything for money if you pay him. That's not a criticism. He seems to have made a full-time career out of having been the guy in the gold suit. So, all went a bit quiet after that. This is an official Star Wars movie. This is Star Wars, Caravan of Courage, and The Battle for Endor, which are Ewok spin-off movies. Don't bother buying them, they're awful. And then it all went very, very quiet on the digital release front for quite some period of time, until 2011. And in 2011, we had the first official release of Star Wars on Blu-ray. This is the 2011 Lucasfilm box set. Now this is, if you only want to get one version of Star Wars on Blu-ray and you don't care about the sequel trilogy, this is the thing to get. It probably costs about £20 second hand, which for 6 movies and 3 bonus discs is pretty good. It works out about £2 a disc or thereabouts. What I will tell you is that the menus on this are a bloody nightmare, and believe me, I've tried to operate a Betamax video recorder, and I've tried to use Linux. It's even worse than that. This thing is like driving a Volvo drunk. It's really, really hard. And these versions of the movies, one on each disc, contain the commentaries, which are on the on the DVDs. It features an extra archival commentary that was recorded in the 90s and pieced together from random bits that they used for Laserdiscs and extra bits of footage. They feature new cuts of the movies in so much as they've gone back in and they've changed and updated some of the special effects. So some of the special effects, even on the 2004 version, they went back and fixed some of the effects to get past the ravages of time and rushing and no budget. 2011 version, they do change a couple more bits, and for the record, hand shot first. But these are the as good as you can get for the Blu-ray versions of the movies. There are also 3 bonus discs that come with these Blu-ray sets. They feature an awful lot of extra stuff. So the first one details the prequels. It's about 5 hours long, but again, as I said, the menu is torturously bad. It's like trying to eat spaghetti on a roller coaster. And this is the bonus disc that comes for the proper original Gangster trilogy, OG trilogy. Again, about 5 hours long, and again, like trying to eat lasagna in a Formula 1 car. This is the 9th disc. It's chock full to the gills of exciting, interesting documentaries with geeks about things. So, for example, there's the Making Star Wars documentary that's on the Executor box set. No, I haven't forgotten about you. Please be quiet. There's the Making of Empire Strikes Back special effects documentary. I'm still here, Shut up. And then also the Classic Creatures documentary from 1983. There's also an extra called Anatomy of a Dewback, which is about the extra effects that were added into the 1997 special edition. There's a documentary called Star Warriors, which is about people that dress up as stormtroopers in their spare time and run around pretending to be Darth Vader. There's one called Star Wars Tech, in which scientists display how realistic is a lightsaber, and could a Death Star actually be a star full of death? Those type of things. That's okay. There's one called Conversation with the Masters, where Irvin Kershner, who was the director of Empire Strikes Back, and George Lucas meet and talk in 2010, not long before Irvin Kershner died. And then there's a Star Wars Spoofs, which is an hour and a half of stuff where basically, all around parodies, most of which aren't very funny because I have a British sense of humour and not an American one. Would also point out, by the way, that the director's commentary on The Empire Strikes Back, which is on here, has Irvin Kershner on it. Irvin Kershner and Arnold Schwarzenegger do the 2 worst audio commentaries of all time, or best, depending on your point of view, largely because they kind of explain what you're watching. So think of the commentary that Arnold Schwarzenegger does for Conan the Barbarian is perhaps the best audio described commentary ever. He takes a great amount of delight in telling you that he's punching a camel. Look at me, I'm punching a camel. I'm punching him. It's brilliant. That's basically the the commentary for Conan the Barbarian and the commentary for Empire Strikes Back, and also Never Say Never Again, by the way, which is the fake Bond movie with Sean Connery that Irwin Kershner also directed. The commentary is, just imagine a nasal American just telling you, and this is the bit where James Bond, he's the spy guy, he's Scottish, but he's playing an English dude, he's that good an actor, and this is the bit where he comes in, and look, he's seducing the woman by talking to her, and she's laughing, and that means she likes him. And I'm like, dude, I get it, okay? I mean, you're a great movie director, you made some great movies, you also made some awful ones, and perhaps doing commentaries isn't your particular area of expertise. Sadly, Owen is now dead, so he won't give a shit, and I don't even know why I'm telling you. So there you have it. Anyway, if you want Star Wars on Blu-ray, the 2011 versions are really, really good. The menus themselves are a nightmare. Again, I've said it's kind of like trying to count spare change while standing on a cliff edge in a thunderstorm, but so be it. But you can't get rid of the other ones, by the way, because, as I've said, there's a special documentary bits and bobs, often about 2 hours per disc on the prequels, and there's the theatrical versions from 2006 that are on these releases, which you can't get. So really, if you want to buy Star Wars, you have to basically, if you're a collector, you have to buy every version that comes out, and you have to keep owning every version that comes out. And yes, I found out the hard way by spending my hard-earned money on them. So come to 2015, and we have the House of the Mouse buys the rights to Star Wars off Lucasfilm and releases the barely tolerable fan fiction trilogy, which is the best version of The Force Awakens to get. It's the 3D version. The reason it's the best version is it has the commentary by J.J. Abrams on, which is really interesting. It's not a great Star Wars film. I would probably rank this, out of the 9, I'd probably rank this as an 8. That is, that there are 7 better Star Wars movies than this. But that's the 3D version. Now, the J.J. Abrams commentary, by the way, is repeated elsewhere on the previously aforementioned Skywalker Saga box set. Okay, and then we have The Last Jedi. 2-disc Blu-ray. It has, like The Force Awakens, it has about 2.5, 3 hours of documentaries and bits and bobs. Now, what we found is they're far more interested by the time that it gets to the House of the Mouse into telling us about how everything was lovely and everyone got on just fine and it was all hunky-dory, it was all hugs on set, and they all worked really, really hard and they made great movies and the atmosphere was so fantastic. I just wanted to hug all the guys, even the bad guys, the stormtroopers. They're such good huggers. But they're not called stormtroopers, are they? They're called force troopers or something. I don't know. And Porgs are brilliant. Anyway, that's not really the point. The point is all the making ofs in the period under where everything's been Disneyfied is everything's just much nicer, and there is no stress and there is no tension, and nobody gets fired from any movies whatsoever at all. And there's not last minute rewrites of anything at all. No, completely not. No, everything is just hunky-dory, guys. So the extras are pretty good. There's a fairly abusive technology in these, in so much as there are retailer only exclusives. So if you buy it from Walmart or from Target or from Best Buy or some other store I can't remember, you get an extra making of that maybe you don't care about. If you buy it from iTunes, you get an exclusive picture-in-picture commentary. Blah blah blah. Just stop fucking us about and stick all the extras on. You bloody lucky people are still buying these things as opposed to all torrenting them to shit. And then, of course, there's a standalone release of The Rise of Skywalker here. This is my least favourite Star Wars film. I think maybe the Star Wars Holiday Special is better. I'll explain why at some point, again, if I don't have a social life ever again. Now, all of these have extra bits and bobs on them, but what you'll be pleased to hear, 2019... they also released the Skywalker Saga box set. Now, there's multiple configurations of this. The biggest one is 27 discs, and it features 4K scans of the 9 movies, plus a standard Blu-ray, a standard resolution, plus a bonus disc. In the UK and most of Europe, they also released a perhaps more wallet-friendly version of this release, alongside which is only 18 discs. This was heavily discounted at a major online retailer that's named after a river, and so therefore works out at something like about £4 per movie when I bought it. It comes in a set. There's a handwritten note from Mark Hamill. What an extraordinary journey it's been. I was rescued from certain obscurity to have one role that everybody remembers me for, and then I became the voice artist to become the Joker. It was the best thing that ever happened to me. Actually, I'm sorry, I'm being cynical. Mark Hamill is a lovely man with a great sense of humour, and he has a load more integrity than lots of other people that I can think of. He also does tweets using the voice of the Joker, which he provides the voice for in the Batman animated series. He reads out Trump's tweets. He's brilliant at it. So, prequel movies are in this set here. We have 2 discs per movie because I don't need the 4K up-res versions. I barely have enough time to watch standard Blu-rays, let alone 4K up-reses in my own personal cinema. Each one comes with a bonus disc. The bonus discs for each movie have about three new featurettes, which is only about 15 minutes of extra material. And they take a random selection of extras from the various other DVD releases of the sets that are included in there. And again, if you don't particularly care about which version you own, the Skywalker Saga is a completely serviceable, affordable, good entry point, and you get all the Star Wars movies, by the way. And the Blu-ray set from 2011, equally affordable, and if you don't like the sequels, just as nice. And if you've bought the original retail DVDs, by the way, for Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker and Force Awakens, you don't need to buy this set, because frankly the only extras that you get are on the first 6 movies anyway, in total maybe about an hour and a half, which is not cool, guys. Okay, if you're going to ask people to spend £50 or more on a box set, put extra stuff that's in there. And they have put extra stuff in here. So for example, the beginning of documentary, which is an hour and a half long, is presented in an upscaled standard definition. But if you've got the Phantom Menace DVD, the version on the Phantom Menace DVD looks at least as good, if not better, than the version that's on here. You've also got The Empire Strikes Back, which again carries over a whole bunch of documentaries from previous ones with about 3 extra features, nothing particularly substantial. And the Return of the Jedi one here as well also features about 2 or 3 extra features, one about matte paintings and so on and so forth. Actually, no, I'm talking about the prequels. Forget all of that. They've still only got about 2 or 3 extra features, only about 15 minutes extra of previously not seen stuff. But there's very little that's not on the previous Blu-ray or DVD releases that's on this particular set. And one of the things that I think is most infuriating about the 2011 set, this one here, is that it presents a lot of the visual material inside a frame. So it doesn't use the full frame, it uses maybe 2/3 of the footprint of it, and the rest of it is a backdrop of, you know, whatever relevant country, town, planet, spaceship, Death Star they're talking about at that given time. So whether repeating stuff from that Blu-ray box set, the 2011 one, on these, they're still repeating the same, only get 2/3 of the image stuff. So you're not getting anything extra, you're just getting re-authored stuff. It's not even better. So these are the original movies. They have been changed and edited for 2019. Some of the effects have been recreated from the original masters to make sure that it matches the 4K definition, because once you upscale it, it starts to look a bit ropey, especially if it was only designed to be seen once on a screen and was often only viewed on VHS anyway. Then at the time that they made the first 3 movies, VHS sell-throughs were still fairly embryonic. But the extras on these, again, 2-3 per disc, maybe 15 minutes or so of extra material that you haven't seen before. Not really worth splashing out the money for if you're really that bothered. And 2019 versions of the movies do sound great, they look great, but the drawback is that it does have Greedo going McClunky just before he gets shot by Han. And the final bits on the Star Wars DVDs are the Sequel Trilogy, The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and The Rise of Skywalker. If you have the 2-disc Blu-rays from the previous releases, you definitely don't need these. There's no extra stuff on them at all. Absolutely not. It's just re-authored. In fact, the only thing that is extra is I think The Last Jedi has a score-only option, which you can watch with just the score by the wonderful John Williams. Okay, so breaking it down, if you only care about the theatrical versions of the movies or the originals, get either the 2006 2-disc sets of the original movies or the 2004 box set, all available very cheaply and affordable. If you like the prequels, and again, not that bothered about how much you pay or what the extras are, go for the DVDs. They're about £1.50 each at the moment. If you want to get the Blu-rays, and again, you're not fussed about getting every last bit of extra on there, this set is absolutely fine for your purposes. If you've really got a hard-on for the sequels, not quite sure why, and you don't own any of them, this is really good. This is a really good, tasty value for money set, about £45 for the 9 movies plus a bonus disc. So you get 18 discs for about £45 from a major online retailer. That's not everything in terms of the Star Wars world. Again, there are these 2 movies. This kicks ass. This just sucks, I'm afraid to say. Rogue One is fantastic. It is the most Star Wars film because it's actually got wars in the stars. So it's the most Star Wars film I think I've seen in probably... It's the best Star Wars film since 1983. And The Last Jedi comes really, really close to it. So if I conclude this, if you like the other movies, this is an absolutely essential purchase. This one, it ain't an essential purchase. It's pretty good. It says it delivers exactly what you want. It doesn't. And I think one of the things where you go wrong when you do DVDs is you put quotes on the back about how good it is. Because if you're that bloody good, you don't have people to go, oh, it delivers exactly what I want. Well, what I wanted was a much better movie than this one, frankly. It's got some really good bits in it, but it is most definitely the 11th placed live action Star Wars movie that there is. Possibly 10th placed, actually, but it's still really low down the list. And by the way, since I've seen all these films, I'm entitled to have an opinion about them. Anyway, so Star Wars, it's really good, isn't it? And as a bloke, I think I'm legally obliged to have to like Star Wars. That's just one of the things that you have to do. It's kind of like they inject you with something like DNA, and it goes, oh, I must like Star Wars, must like Star Wars, must like Star Wars. And then all of a sudden you wake up and go, I like Star Wars. And if you don't, that's absolutely great too. But, you know, hopefully that's been a good guide to the home video and DVD and Blu-ray releases of the live action Star Wars movies and the best versions to get. So again, recapping, if you only want the theatrical versions of the original films, go for the 2006 releases. If you don't care about which version of the movies you get and you only like the original first 3 films, get the 2004 box set or one that has just the 3 movies in, very affordable. If you're really into the extras, then these and all of the releases are pretty much absolutely essential because there's an exclusive set of extras on each release, apart from the VHS Executor Box Set. Although I think that does have a couple of only... This, by the way, the 1997 VHS version has about an hour-long interview with George Lucas in. It's about 20 minutes on each one of the 3 movies. It's not been released anywhere else, but I'd like to thank YouTube for putting it out there. And by the way, if you can't find any of the extras or you want to watch them, I think almost everything is on YouTube now. So that makes life a little bit easier. Again, Blu-rays, if you only like the George Lucas period, this is absolutely fine to go for and very, very affordable. Buy Rogue One as well, and that's about it. But if you're going to have every last thing, every last McClunky, then 2019 Skywalker Saga box set is the one for you. Shop around, you'll be able to find them affordably and cheaply. And there are no excuses unless you don't like them, at which point just don't waste your money on these. And if you don't like something, don't bother watching it, and don't bother putting a thumbs down on YouTube either. Jeez, people, man, I can't understand them. Anyway, I'm going to stop there. I should point out I only do these when I feel like it and when I can be bothered and when I've got something I think that is worth talking about. And if there is ever a point where I don't know what I'm talking about, or more correctly, if I haven't seen all of the David Fincher movies, I just ain't going to do it, you know? Unless the one film in that particular director's over I haven't seen is maybe a documentary about Hungarian tractor farming that he made when he was kidnapped by Kim Jong-il and had to do a North Korean Godzilla movie, then you know what, there's no excuses not to have seen it apart from your own laziness. And so therefore I don't take that particular thing seriously. Anyway, I'm going to shut up. I'm going to stop rambling because Rambler's going to ramble. And it's been nice to see you. Don't forget to tell me if you're wrong if I'm wrong in the comments box, because that's exactly what the internet was invented for. And I will see you all again at some point when I can be bothered, when I think of something else. Anyway, it's been nice to see you, and I'm going to shut up now, and I'm going to have a well-deserved cup of tea. See you all later. Bye, people.